Alright, here's a quick little video of my truck towing my 6-foot by 12-foot cargo trailer with the V-nose before the temper and suspension upgrades. It's good to do little runs like this, shakedown runs, before filling her up and towing her across country. This trailer is also very tall, so I'm 6 foot tall and my head is like right there, so that's say 7.5 feet tall off the ground. When I step inside, the actual ceiling is a bit above my head, but not a whole lot. And the load I have in right now is the swing set I just tore down. I'm about to make a run to the dump. Couldn't quite fit all that in my bed. Some of these boards are like this one right here is one of the main beams. It goes all the way to the front of the V-nose. I'm going to set this thing up at my next home like a shed. Believe it or not, this was way cheaper than a 6 foot by 12 foot shed. And it has wheels and integrated lights. It's going to be awesome. As you can see, the suspension sag is minimal. The truck's just leveled out. It's not even on its secondary suspension leaf springs in the rear. I'd say it's probably got 200 or 300 pounds of tongue weight on it right now. Well, let's see how good this little 4-cylinder truck with 212,000 miles on it can tow this 6 foot by 12 foot trailer. The trailer empty weighs like 990 pounds, and with all that crap in there, it's probably 1,500 pounds maybe. So here's what I can see on my mirror. This truck is so low to the ground that, as you can see, this is looking from my eyesight. You can actually keep a good eye on your rear tires on your trailers because this truck is low without any special mirrors. And the 6 foot wide trailer is actually pretty good on this truck. It's a little bit wider on this side because it's obviously not directly behind me, but you see it's pretty even. And I can still see, if I just move my head over a little bit, I can still see the rear tire pretty well in this mirror too. And then I got my little blind spot mirror that helps out too, but that's a little guy, so let's see how this works out. I honestly can't feel it behind me right now. The trailer actually smooths out a lot when you put some weight in it. It's only got 500 pounds in it. The most that trailer can hold is 2,000 pounds, which would max it out at just shy of 3,000 pounds. I got that trailer, it's actually very used. It's like 10 years old. It's built in 07, it's 2017, so I got it for very cheap. A lot cheaper than what a shed that size would cost, and obviously a trailer is a lot more useful than a shed is. So yeah, can't feel it. Here comes a big dip in my neighborhood streets. Oh yeah, that's a lot smoother than when it's empty. Turn my heat on. It's cold outside this morning, there's frost everywhere. Let's put it on my feet. I've actually been driving around with this empty the last few days. I'm trying to give this trailer a shakedown because later on this year I'm going to be moving to Mobile, Alabama from Chesapeake, Virginia here. You see it's springtime. All the Bradford trees are blooming. Bradford pears. This truck's doing pretty good. I'll give you a final review when I get to my destination. Or maybe I'll take the highway route. I'll make a little video of getting on the highway pulling this trailer. Changed my mind. I'm gonna make a view of me pulling out onto the road here. The car's coming. There's acceleration. Accelerated just fine. It's actually not much slower than stock. My truck is doing like what typically does when you put a little weight in the bed. The front end, the whole ride on the truck actually is smoother than it is when the truck's empty. So these trucks seem to they're made for work. So this light little truck that weighs like 3,800 pounds. There's a police roadblock thing going on up here. Slow down. So this truck only weighs 3,800 pounds, but yet it has a payload capacity of like 12 to 1,700 pounds, depending which configuration you have. Well, 13 to 1,700 pounds. My crew cab's like 1,300 pounds. All right, I got around the roadblock now. Here it is, construction. As you can see, my truck has just shy of 212,000 miles. I'll hit that by the end of the week. I'll be close to 13,000 miles within another week and a half. By the time I do my cross-country road trip, I'll probably have 220 on there. But my truck has the 2.8 liter 4-cylinder. It's a big bore 4, but it's like 275 horsepower, 175 horsepower, 185 foot-pounds of torque, with the 4L60 Echo transmission, which is the same one that was in my V8 Silverado. So that transmission with this little truck should last forever. I do have variable valve timing, so like around say 1,500 RPMs all the way up to like 5,000 RPMs. My torque line is pretty much maxed out at the 185. It's a good torquey little motor. By comparison, my 1988 Toyota 4Runner had a 3.0 V6, so it's almost the same displacement. My 1995 Suburban I had with a 5.7 liter V8 only had 200 horsepower and like 300 foot-pounds of torque. So it's approaching the same amount of horsepower, less torque. That's fine. I could drop a gear, get more torque to the ground, and it won't matter because this truck's getting better gas mileage, even with the gear drop compared to that Suburban did. The fact that Suburban weighed like 2,000 or 3,000 pounds more, so this truck's a whole lot more peppy. I got the 373 rear end. The code in my dash sticker there is like GT4 for the 373. If I had the 342 rear end, my max tow, this would basically be the max tow limit for that. But since I got the 373 rear end, I can tow a few thousand pounds more. I'm about to get on the highway here in a second. And there's a lot of traffic up here in Virginia. It's not too bad though, I guess. It could be worse. It's definitely worse some parts of the day. Definitely a lot worse. And this truck actually has the G80 option in the sticker in the glove box. That means it has the locking rear diff. And it's 2-wheel drive. I got the Z85 suspension. Basically the stock suspension. Which means I have a independent front suspension with coil springs, and then the rear is leaf, multi-stage leaf, 2-stage. See, I'm accelerating now, just fine. Probably gave it a 3rd throttle just then. Speed limit here is 55. I'm doing 60. Let me hit the cruise here. Let's do a short jaunt on this. For this particular trailer, I looked it up online. As you can see, I'm not having any trailer sway. I may be swaying a little bit because I'm doing the camera, but yeah, it feels great on the highway. It's not bad. It feels very stable. Just hit a big dip in the road just then. Got a little lofty front end, but it's not bad. It's a lot less than like I've had a little while back. I ran to the hardware store and got 10 80-pound bags of cement and threw it in the back. This was 800 pounds. The front end lofted a bit on that. I threw it all in the bed behind the rear axle, so it lofted the front end even more. But my truck was still, it was like riding like a Cadillac at that point. I'm sure the braking wasn't as good, but It was a very smooth ride. Going up this hill here. Not even trying to hold the speed. I'm at sea level, obviously. I'm in Chesapeake, Virginia. Slow down for this car coming on. For some reason, highways around here are all set to 55 to 60. Here comes a larger overpass going over a large river. It's gonna be a longer, steeper hill. If I was be towing this or towing this truck maxed out or anything over 3,000 pounds at extremely high altitude, doing like the Ike Gauntlet like the fast lane truck dudes do on this YouTube, I may be wanting the 5-cylinder at least, or maybe even the optional V8 in the later year models. My truck's an 05. And I'd probably also want electronic brakes on the back. Anything over, like, say 3,000 pounds, I'd want electronic brakes, just in case. You want to be able to stop, you know, safety purposes. One thing I have noticed with this truck, it has I know it has the adaptive transmission learning capabilities. So as soon as you put it in cruise control, no matter what you're towing, it always immediately tries to go into fuel economy mode, like tries to drop into overdrive, which this big ass trailer is a giant parachute, so immediately it'll freak out for like 5 or 10 seconds going up and down trying to figure out what's going on, and then it realizes it's towing and you'll see it drop into a towing gear. Of course, right now I'm only doing 55 and I'm in traffic, so my truck's holding 55 just fine with the giant parachute. I'm gonna go up this hill. It's another hill. It's holding 55 just fine in overdrive. This transmission overheating is something I'd probably never worry about because this truck's tow rating, or the transmission's capabilities are a lot more than what this truck's tow rating is. So perfectly fine. I don't have a transmission temperature reader. The newer Colorados do have that. There's a little screen in the middle of your dash here. You can actually switch through and see what your transmission temperature is. All right, coming off the on-ramp. Braking seems fine. It's a good little work truck. I think if I was like say a landscaper, this truck would be great for that. Even the 4-cylinder. Or if I had some small boat or something like that. I'm gonna turn this off now. I just wanted to add one more thing. With this little 2.8 liter and the 3.7 rear end and that transmission, for some reason GM, like, I said I had that the same transmission in my Silverado. My Silverado had a normal mode and then a tow/haul mode. The programming for this transmission in this little truck with the 4-cylinder is like it's always in tow/haul mode. Like they threw trying to get good gas mileage out the window. But as a consequence, I've not missed my V8 Silverado at all. Like this truck feels extremely peppy and the throttle response has been great. So. And it's great for towing without a tow-haul mode because it's already in tow-haul mode. I just found out they're going to actually weigh my truck before and after. So I'm going to see exactly how much that old rotten swing set weighed. I'll tell you in just a few minutes. Sitting in the line at the dump. Alright. I just came off the scale. It was 620 pounds almost. And my truck with the trailer empty is a total of 5,560 pounds. Now when I move across country here in a few months, I'm going to have in that trailer I'm going to throw a 750 pound gun safe. I have a whole bunch of gardening stuff and riding lawnmower and all that. Small riding lawnmower. So makes me feel better. I think this truck will tow it just fine across country. Definitely jostles more when you don't have any weight in that trailer. Get those little bumps, you can feel them. Throw some tongue weight on there and it smooths right out. I'll say during the braking and stuff, I thought my suspension was going to compress a lot more than it did. It didn't really compress at all. Not any more than it does during like... It's actually pretty much just stayed level. But I didn't do any emergency slamming on the brakes, which is why I want to get the Timberens. That way I can fill up the bed of my truck and that trailer. I won't max out the trailer. I'd rather have more weight in the bed of my truck. It gives my truck a better brake to towing capacity ratio. More weight on top of my wheels that are braking. Alright, subscribe to stay tuned for more updates on this old homestead truck. I think this truck is great for a little homestead.